You will fit in the beat of the Pacific. Tanya G, 8:37 here on your all fresh breakfast. Louie and Trina with you this morning. Special guest in studio with us, PT's here, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, New Zealand? How are you, mate? How are you?
Mainly the ladies are happy that you're on air right now. PT, great to see you. It's been a little minute.
Yeah, bro.
But we're here.
Yeah, man.
We're on the mics.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to talk today.
Let's do it, bro.
So first off, my question to you is, how have you been? Because it's been a little while since PT has been, I want to say MIA in the nicest way, because you haven't been on social. We've heard you've been on features.
Yeah.
Features here and there, but we haven't really heard that PT.
Well, for me, I was just like, bro, I just needed to take time out from social media. It wasn't, it was just getting in the way of like songwriting. It was getting in the way of like the craft of music. I was just finding like so often it's like, man, I'm having to try and figure out stuff to say on social media purely to get likes for the purpose of getting likes, but it doesn't really help you. Like in terms of my craft, I get paid from songwriting. I get paid from doing songs. I get paid from going out and performing, etc. But you don't get paid from social media, and yet it becomes your whole life. Like everybody becomes so focused on that. So I was like, man, I'm gonna tap out from this for a while. I'm gonna just go back to experiencing life, because that helps me create better. And I'm just gonna go and live life. So it's funny because so many people have been like, bro, you've been MIA, like where have you been? I'm like, alive, obviously. Like I've been out here just doing stuff without having to post about it.
Yeah.
So I've actually been in the moment rather than capturing the moment. See, that's the problem, bro. Everybody's out here on Snapchat like, we're doing this and this. Is like, bro, how much of the moment are you really experiencing versus just capturing the moment to try and be a eats dude to everybody else? Like, you want these likes. Like, forget about that. Live in the moment. Actually experience it. Breathe it. Because that you find that it goes deeper into you, into your character, into your soul, your essence, rather than just like everything you do, you capture. Why? Because other people want to see it? Are you that important? Are you that highly opinionated of yourself? Like,
isn't that crazy? Like, if you're missing from social media for a few, people think you're dead.
Bro, literally.
Yeah.
People thought, they're like, bro, what happened to you? Like, oh, bro, I've been alive. Like, I've been here. Like, and see, that's the thing. That actually goes to show the depth of some of the relationships that you have with people. That it's only social media deep. That if they don't see you on social, your relationship is non-existent.
Yeah.
For me, this time, like, it really it revealed to me like who the true friends are. For real. Like people who are just acquaintances and hangarounds versus the real homies who would be like, they'd text and say, you good, bro? I haven't seen you on. I'm like, yeah, okay, there you know about like your real friends in your circle. It's just, like I say, just going away to live life. Ed Sheeran did it too.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran took a whole year off social media because he wanted to just focus on the creation of music. And you listen to the stuff he dropped, it was huge. So yeah, by me doing the same thing, I just found for me, emotionally, like life just became so much better because I wasn't focusing on everybody else. I was just focusing on myself for a little while, and spiritually too. I came back to God in that time and really it's just cleaned everything up, man. Coming back to God and giving my heart back to Jesus, it's fixed everything for me. It's just made it so much more just easier to live life, Cast all your burdens on Him, man. It makes it so much easier just to be now, rather than trying to be the character or trying to be the artist that everyone expects you to be. It's just like, man, I'll just be me.
It kind of feels like, and it kind of sounds like that you've found yourself, like your true self.
Yeah, man.
That's what it sounds like when you're talking right now.
Well, I think like my identity for so long was wrapped up in my career. My identity was wrapped up in the success of my music, and that's a dangerous place to be, because if your identity is wrapped up in what you do, when that all falls away, who are you? What are you? So for me, if these songs weren't hitting, or if I noticed that some of the shows, like maybe some people, like they weren't as packed as what they used to be, or you catch negative comments, and all of a sudden it's like, man, your whole being starts to crumble away. So for me, coming back to God just made me realize, like, okay, who I am in Him, who I am in His eyes, and it's got nothing to do with my career. He don't care about my career.
Right.
PT
woke this morning, ladies and gentlemen. He woke. Is there any significance in you growing your hair out? Or is it just because?
Yeah, bro. Well, one, because I'm Māori. Like, I just want to grow it out long, bro. And the other one is I got sick of going to get haircuts all the time,
I feel you,
Every
bro.
2 weeks having to catch these fades, I'm like, nah, bro. I'm just going to grow it out long and just let it roll out and just cornrow it every now and again, bro.
Well, it's good to see you back, and it's good to hear you back in the new song that's been out for a couple of days now. Sounds
Yeah, man.
amazing.
Thank you, bro.
I messaged you, I said it sounds sexy as hell, which it is. Because, you realize in the 2000s, you were like New Zealand's version of T-Pain, bro. You were everywhere.
I was doing it, bro.
You were doing
I was
it.
on every song possible. And it's like, yeah, are you guys doing a song? What is it? Rock. Oh, yeah, I'm in, bro. Yeah, I got you. You need a hook?
Are there because and I want to talk more about the actual sound of the single Trust. Are there any genres of music that you ever wanted to really do but still uncomfortable doing? Like say rock?
I don't know, like
Because you've done a bit of reggae.
yeah, I think like even like the ballads, like I haven't ever really touched like a ballad before. Like that's something that I think I've kind of been it's one of the things that I think all artists do kind of look to and kind of dodge at the same time because it's so raw. Like you really put yourself across when you go and hit the ballad. So that might be something that I look towards in future. I just finished a song for this album where like in the lead verses, like I sing falsetto. That's something I've never done before. Like I'll normally just use the falsetto for BVs, for stacking, like to just give just a different feel to the verses as opposed to like putting it there as the lead. So I'm starting to experiment a little bit more with the vocal editing and where I place it all. But yeah, if there's one genre, I'd say it'd be that, bro.
Nice stone cold ballad for you.
Yeah, just something heavy, like because ballads never die.
Yeah, no, that's true.
The real good ballads, like you hear them again, you're like, oh my goodness, that was a song.
Let me check on Brian McKnight one right now.
Yeah, see, there you go. There you go, mate.
What are some of the things that we'll ask this question, we'll go for a break, but what are some of the things that you experienced during your time away that's helped you get into this new chapter of your music?
It was just
movies.
It was life. Like, again, coming back to God, like just reading the word and really like pressing deep with God. I did a fair amount of traveling and like visiting a whole bunch of like different churches or being asked to do different things around the country. One thing that really impacted me heavily, like at the start of this year, my sister-in-law, she passed away. She actually committed suicide. So I spent a fair bit of time over in Australia with my brother and his children, and really just walking through that situation with them, and that just made me realize the fragility of life, like how fragile our lives are, and literally it can be gone in an instant. And another thing I realized is that there are people walking around broken and hurting all day, and you'd never know. I had no idea my sister-in-law was that way. I had no idea that was going to happen. It literally came out of nowhere. And this is a person that, I was communicating with like every day, her and my brother. We were talking all the time. Next thing you know, that happens. So it showed me, man, people carry some deep-rooted stuff that's really... it's really deep, and a lot of people don't realize because we choose not to reveal ourselves. I think the world today, people today in the world have removed all vulnerability, terrified of being vulnerable. People are so scared to open up to anybody else to let them know how they're really feeling. Why is that? Well, you've got social media partially to blame for that. Everybody's out here putting up fronts. And that's the truth. People are putting online like, hey, man, things are good. I'm doing this, and getting all the likes. And yet the truth is mentally they might be going through the most horrific stuff in their mind. And you'll never know. Why? Because no one's going to put up all day like, I'm really broken. I'm really hurt. I need help. Because no one wants to be a negative Nelly. They we just want the likes. We just, I just want to put across a front to you guys. And next thing you know, they end their lives or whatever, and people are shocked going, how could this happen? We had no idea. It's like, well, because everyone's scared to be vulnerable. That's the key. People are scared to open up to anybody else.
It's New Fear in the beat of the Pacific. Drake signs 10 away from 9 on your fresh breakfast. Louis Trina hanging out with PT is in studio with us still. We're talking on the new single Trust, which has been out for a couple of days. It's sexy as hell. I was going to ask you what the song is about, but here's what I'm going to do. I want to tell you what I think the song is about. Okay. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, cool.
So I think that it is a a song about getting into a new relationship. That's what I think it's about. And that new feeling that you have when you find that new somebody, you got to build that trust.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it most definitely could be from that standpoint.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're not wrong, because it's, I always tend to try and write very, not ambiguously, but I try and leave the angles as open as possible.
Okay.
I don't try and like single it down into like one total lane. Like, here's the other thing about it, I just talked about the fact that I'm with God. The other element of it is I'm actually writing part of that song towards God. Like this song exists in a few different realms. It exists in the physical, but it also exists in the spiritual. So, I'm just, with that song for me, it was actually about being in a relationship with somebody for a little while, and she's broken. She's hurt. Like, she doesn't really know how to let go or let you into that place. So that's why the line starts with, imagine that you were my blessing. So it's like, remove all preconcepts and notions about yourself or stuff that other dudes have done to you in relationships. Break all that stuff away. This is how I view it. This is how you should view it also. So it's about, again, it's trust. It's about trying to get into that place of vulnerability where you can trust me to take care of you. You can trust me to be the man that you need. Yeah.
That's a deep message here in the song. PT, what do you like in a relationship, bro? Are you a very trustworthy man?
Yes,
and
man.
Is trust a very big part in a relationship?
Trust and honesty are the keys. They're the keys to relationships. In the past, like in my past relationships, I haven't been good, bro. And I realized, like, man, if you want a relationship to work, you have to be that better person. So I've completely changed, bro. Completely flipped. And understanding that when you go into a relationship, you've got to give 100 and expect that they give 100 also. And even if you're unsure as to whether they're giving 100, you still have to give 100. Because if you're both here, like just giving 50-50, what's the point of being in a relationship? What is the point of being with somebody if you're not going to go all in? You have to go all in. You can't reserve and hold pieces back for yourself. Why? Because it's not going to be a very good relationship, is it? And you're going into a relationship for the wrong reasons. You'll be going into a relationship for selfish reasons, for what can I get out of this relationship, versus coming into it and saying, what can I give to it? What can I give to the relationship? When you look at it from that angle first, as opposed to like what I can get out of it, it'll make things so much easier, because no longer are you just thinking about yourself like, oh man, if she doesn't come through and do this, or if she doesn't do this on time, or if he doesn't say this, or if he doesn't, but it'll ruin you. It'll ruin you.
I've got a brilliant idea.
What's your let me turn your mic on, Trina. What's your idea?
I have a brilliant idea. I feel like we need to take you on like a New Zealand tour, like a relationship motivational tour. Like, where did you come from? Like, there are no males out there that have that kind of thought or that process. We need to do a tour, a relationship tour of New Zealand.
I've been talking like this for years.
Get out of here, Louis.
Only because PT's a great singer. No, everybody listens to him. Don't listen to me.
I'm just like, where did you come from? And are there others of you where you come from?
Well, I think there are, but here's the problem. Like, when you got music and television dictating to you, like, even if you're in a relationship, cheat. Just do whatever you want to do because they're going to screw you over anyway. What does it do to people subconsciously? Nobody can trust anybody now. Like, you've got songs from like Janae Aiko, like, I'm out here screwing over these dudes. You got songs from women like just hating on men. You got songs from men hating on women. R&B was never about that. Music was never that vicious. Music, even from some of these rock guys, they'd be singing love songs back in the 70s and 80s because they actually cared about their partner.
And Donald Trump, can't trust him.
There you go. But music now, it's just so much, it's selfish. It's selfish. All the songs you hear is just, it's all about me. Forget you, stuff you. I'ma stack this money and stuff you if you ain't making it. I'ma get these girls. Like, I heard one of Chris Brown's songs the other day. When I get married, I'm keeping all my side hoes. I was like, damn, dog.
Chris.
For real, bro. And what's crazy is he's out here acting mental for Karrueche. He's out here trying to fight people on Instagram for Karrueche. He's out here writing songs and throwing her name in there. So it's like, dude, you love her and you still want to be a scumbag. That's why it's not working, because you're being a douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, if you just chose to say, fine, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to honor her as a woman. I'm actually going to say, cool, I actually love you. You love me. I'll try and make this right. Otherwise, let it go. Don't be that dude. Like, just let go of the relationship. Don't bother.
Well,
That's
you know
just,
what they say. Hurt people hurt people.
Ooh, there you go.
Chris Brown is
nice
a very
wrap up.
hurt man.
There
Nice
you
wrap
go.
up, Trina.
Hurt people hurt people.
Okay, before we get into this track, before we play this track, we're gonna wrap up with this thing that I just found out about, and I'd love to know more about it. Just quickly, Undefeated. What is
Yeah, so Undefeated is a schools tour that we're running throughout high schools in Auckland for the next 2 weeks, and it's just aimed at youth suicide prevention, but it's also aimed at just giving young people hope. So there's a real big problem with young people, especially in New Zealand. Man, we've got the highest youth suicide stats in the world. How do we change that? How do we fix that? How do we get into the minds of young people and let them know like they're valued, they're loved, they have purpose, they have a calling? And I think that's where it is for a lot of these people. A lot of young people don't realize that they have purpose. A lot of young people, they're struggling and dealing with difficult, like even relationships as a young person. You're going through puberty and trying to figure everything out, and you don't have it all figured out, and yet, the whole world just caves in on you, where one thing can break and all of a sudden you're ruined. So we're aiming to go into schools and just make sure that kids know, like, man, you guys are valued. You guys are valued very highly, and you have a purpose for your life. You've just got to choose to you pick it up and run with it, and not let the things that happen to you define who you are going forward.
Nice. If you want to give me some more details on that, bro, do you want me to plug it after? Direct people to wherever.
Cool, man.
Let me
Cool.
know about it.
Cool.
I'm gonna leave the introduction of the song up to you, bro, and then we're gonna play this thing.
Yeah, what's up, New Zealand? It's your boy PT here with New FM, and this is my new single, Trust. Check it out. Single, Trust. Check it out. Single,